In today's video, I will be revealing the hidden secrets of Young Min's incredible sand manipulation act on America's Got Talent. Let's do a quick recap of what happened in his performance. Young begins the illusion by picking up some sand and almost immediately turning it into a solid rod, then follows that up with a smooth vanishing and reappearing trick. He brings out the sand rod once more, and this time it changes back into loose sand right before our eyes. Then, he seemingly grabs some sand from nowhere and creates a steady stream flowing from his closed hand, which he cleverly splits into two separate flows. Next up, he magically makes a large ring appear out of thin air and slowly breaks it down back into sand, bit by bit, all in slow motion, wrapping up his amazing performance. So, how exactly did he manage to pull off these mind-blowing tricks? Let's break it down. Many of you probably already figured out the very first trick, where he sneakily pulls out a hidden rod from inside his left sleeve. Right after that, he makes it disappear temporarily by holding the rod horizontally in a specific position. We can actually catch a quick glimpse of the rod's position right at this moment. From Young's point of view, you'd notice it being pressed against his chest, held in place by his middle finger. To bring the rod into view, he shifts his fingers so that his thumb slides under it and flicks it forward. Then, in the slow-motion footage, it becomes clear that the rod is being slid back up into his left sleeve just before a puff of sand bursts out from his left wrist. You can clearly see the opening in his left sleeve, which is where the sand cloud comes out. But the real mystery is, how is that sand device built and hidden inside his cloak? I'll explain that part at the very end of this breakdown. Moving on to the second trick, he once again pulls a rod out of his left sleeve, but if you pay close attention, you'll see this rod looks different from the earlier ones. In fact, this second rod doesn't seem to have any sand inside. It looks more like it's packed with shiny silver glitter. And there's also a noticeable black tip on this rod, right by his left hand. When we slow the footage down, you'll catch him twisting the rod in the opposite direction using both hands, which causes the glitter and sand mixture to spill out, pulling off that stunning illusion. For those who are familiar with traditional stage magic props, this might seem like he used a vanishing cane, a hollow tube that collapses when twisted. But when we review the slowed-down footage of Young's act, it clearly doesn't match how a vanishing cane typically behaves. That's because what he used is actually a specially made prop, crafted just for this performance. This unique device has a front half made of see-through plastic so that the glitter and sand inside are visible, while the back half is made from black plastic that conceals the ends. When he twists both ends in opposite directions, the gadget splits into two sections. First, the clear part drops off, letting all the glitter and sand fall out, and then the black part at the back is released. All of it happening in one smooth motion. Now that you know the trick behind the setup, you can actually spot it coming apart in slow motion. You'll see the transparent plastic half drop first, followed closely by the mix of glitter and sand, and then the black plastic piece falls right afterward. That black portion is tough to spot because everything happens at once and the falling sand and glitter act as a distraction. But since that black piece is still solid, when it hits the stage floor, you can notice the sand bouncing up, briefly revealing the black rod near his foot clearly visible. For the third illusion, he reaches for a thumb tip that's been hidden on the outside of his cloak. Even though the video editors removed the moment he actually grabs it, his stained hand leaves a noticeable smudge on the left side, showing exactly where his hand was placed before the jump cut. This thumb tip contains a small portion of sand, which he releases by subtly pushing it forward with his finger. You can actually spot him doing just that with his left hand. This little burst of sand serves to distract the audience, pulling their focus away from what his right hand is secretly doing. Pay attention to how he turns his body sideways as his right hand reaches for a black cylinder that's packed with sand and has a small opening at the bottom. In this closer view, you can briefly catch sight of that cylinder. But simply having a sand-filled tube doesn't explain how he managed to make the stream of sand appear to split in two. It looks so unreal, almost like it's computer-generated. To figure this out, take a look at his second performance on America's Got Talent, where he does the same trick again. Thanks to the lighting being slightly off during that show, we get a rare peek at how this sand cylinder is actually built. If you zoom in closely, you'll see that when he picks up the cylinder from the floor, there's a small black spoon-like piece attached to a thin wire, hiding right behind the falling sand. With just a slight tilt of his hand, this black scoop swings forward, interfering with the stream of sand and giving the illusion that it's been cleanly split in two. Here's what this trick device looks like when viewed up close. The cylinder has a thin wire connected to it, and at the end of the wire is a tiny black spoon-shaped piece, specifically designed to blend in with his dark clothing. The flowing sand coming from his left hand is simply the result of him pre-filling his left fist with sand and then letting it fall at just the right moment, perfectly in sync with the action of the wire gimmick. Now for the final trick in this act. It might look straightforward at first, making you think he just pulled a ring out from inside his cloak, but things get puzzling when you realize that the ring he first shows is only a half ring. Then, as he lifts his left arm, the second half seems to magically appear out of nowhere. But what's really happening here? Take a closer look at the complete ring. You'll notice that the left half is actually slightly bigger than the right half. As shown in this animation, the larger left side is cleverly built to conceal the smaller right half inside it. At first, when he takes the ring out of his cloak, he's only showing that larger left portion. Once that's fully exposed, he places the fingers of his left hand right over the ring, directly above where the smaller hidden half is nested, and then pulls that inner section out. This creates the amazing illusion of a full ring appearing from nowhere. And once you understand how this special ring is built, it becomes clear how he manages to make it disappear at the end of the trick, too. You can actually see the smaller right half being gently pushed back into the larger left half. After that, the entire ring setup is slipped into a large pocket sewn into his cloak. But what about that mysterious sand production device? How exactly does that function? At the heart of it is a compact yet powerful air blower that's strapped onto his back and hidden beneath his costume. Connected to this blower is a sand reservoir, a flexible pouch that's filled with ultrafine dry sand. The pouch is positioned so that gravity naturally lets the sand drop into the airstream once it's turned on. A slim, bendable tube runs from this hidden setup down through his sleeve and ends at a tiny nozzle, which we spotted near his left wrist. To switch the blower on, Young uses a discreet foot switch that's placed on the fabric-covered floor he stands on. Behind this mask, only the truth remains, till we meet again.